subconscious. So I'm like, yeah, I'm really curating my inputs, because otherwise it's like, yeah, just like, if you want to behave like normal people, just watch what normal people watch. Right? And many people are just stressed out and constantly in a rush and anxious, and I'm like, well, maybe I can like start to take proactive action and curate my inputs. It's like, the social media, not watching TV, and so on. And like every show, every movie has a lot of programming in it. So it's like really being aware of that and taking empowered action is like one of the first steps to kind of, curate and help your mental health, for sure.
Yeah, and I just did a thread on that because I'm a movie guy,
Yeah.
but you have to choose the right movies. You could choose the stupid shit like fucking what's that one with what's her name coming out? Jennifer Lawrence has a new one coming out and it's just
Oh,
ridiculous, bro. It's
that
ridiculous.
dumb one.
She's like
Yeah.
getting paid to date this 19-year-old by the 19-year-old's parents. It's just
It's a
weird,
bit
man.
weird. Yeah.
But I saw that in a preview when going to see Fast 10. And that's like, if you pay attention to Fast 10, and I think this is why people like it so much, is yeah, it's cheesy, but it's got cool cars, it's got cool driving, and it does actually have like those funny one-liners, and like you could get shit out of it. Like the whole movie, they're passing over this symbolic necklace with a cross on it saying just have faith.
Yeah.
So every big thing coming, it's just have faith. And if you focus on the right parts, you could get the right things out of it. But sadly, the movies being made right now is like 1 out of 10 has that type of shit.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, bro.
Yeah, dude. And I mean, it's really about awareness, like what you're focusing your attention to or on. But at the end of the day, your subconscious will catch everything. Like you will notice like the cross and the faith message, but you won't notice how much they encourage like booze drinking. Like I'm sure like there is a lot of booze in the movie, right?
Yep.
And so it's like there are like these subtle things. So maybe you pick up on great messages, which is absolutely fantastic, but it doesn't mean that your subconscious doesn't notice like the more like, how to say, negative, you could say, messaging. So, but yeah, like the awareness is really the first step in any case.
You'd think for a driving movie there wouldn't be so much drinking. I haven't seen them,
Yeah.
but like I think people like them though because they're not like all political and shit. It's like,
Yeah.
why did Top Gun do so good out here? It's because it didn't have some ulterior message. It was just like, fuck yeah, dude, America. Let's get
And
it
even
poppin'.
with the actors doing their own political thing, like they're still supporting whatever the movie is. Like Vin Diesel, I think, is a far left type dude. No one gives a shit. It's a good movie. It's got a good message. Let's watch it.
Tom
Yeah.
Cruise is a fucking Scientologist.
Hey, my man.
Ain't much more to say about that. It's a good
Yeah.
movie still, though.
Yeah, but actually, you bring up a good point, because it can be a double-edged sword in the sense that it can be a great escape. And it's great, like to like no more politics for a while. Like just let me relax. But it's, as I say, it's like a double-edged sword, because some people use that as an escape to like not face their problems, and this is where it can become problematic. So if you do it consciously, it's absolutely fine. Like you have to enjoy entertainment every once in a while, right? It's like, you're not here to just work and but
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
if you are escaping your problems, eventually it will catch up on you, right? And you will know because basically you could have insomnia with anxiety, like anxious thoughts at night, right? Because like your body, your subconscious knows that you're escaping a problem. Like it's under the carpet, but it's like coming up eventually.
I think it
Hell
has its
yeah.
place still. Yeah.
Let's
It
get
does.
it started,
It-
bro. I'm gonna
Yeah,
rip the intro.
Rip this shit, dude.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Episode 43, feeling good, live from France.
Yep.
Heard the church bells ringing in the background just a second ago.
That's correct. Yes.
We
7
love
p.m. The church like plays a little jingle.
Oh, dude.
I couldn't tell you the last time I heard one of those over here.
Oh. They don't have churches with bells out here. They look like shoe boxes, most of them.
Yeah, it's funny because in some places people start to complain about those churches, like the bells, because they're like, it shouldn't like make that much noise. Like people are so like pissed off at like traditional kind of countryside things. Like anyway, so even like I've heard like people in some village in the south of France, it's like they were complaining about the bells around the cow's neck.
The cowbell?
Yeah,
Oh, you
Making
can't
too
never
much
have too
noise.
much cowbell, dude.
yeah, I agree. It's even outside the village, but people still complain. It's like, yeah, whatever.
I just think,
Wow.
yeah, I guess America ain't really that bell friendly. Like the Liberty Bell we had, and that thing got a big old crack in it. Didn't even work. So it might be a
Yeah.
cultural
Oh,
thing. Who
man.
knows?
Yeah.
Well, all right, man. Let's get into who you are, where you grew up over there. So just a little bit of what's
Yeah.
going on over there and what your mission is. You sent us your mission. I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah. So, like, so born and raised in France, close to Paris, so the capital city. And for most of my life, I have been more like into the intellectual side, really putting an emphasis on my mind, essentially, which like had pros and cons. And I was into computer science. I went into computer science. That's my formal education until like 3 years ago, where I essentially had an episode of depression. And I was like, oh, like it's actually not meant for me. And it was like soon after I started going on to my own health journey, like starting with fitness, being insecure about my body, wanting like muscles and looking good, and studying health through podcasts, and eventually like started to understand like health more and more holistically. Like, oh, it's not just about training, it's also about like eating. Oh, it's also about like sleep and mindset, or maybe throw like some meditation and sauna, right? And so on and
Yeah.
so forth. And I realized that I started to really have a passion for human health, human potential, essentially. Like, what are we really capable of once we have all like the pieces together? Like, if you have like everything dialed in, like, what are you really capable of? And I've always like teaching, and so like computer engineering as an engineer, like really not my thing essentially. And being stuck in front of a computer the whole day under artificial light, I realized there was a clash of values eventually.
Yeah, that'll make you depressed right there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. Especially like it was after 1 month in the mountains, like doing qigong barefoot in the sun, like.
And then you go into a computer room all day.
Yeah, and then
Oh,
I come
yeah.
back to like work on a Monday morning. I sit down in front of the computer and it hits me like, oh, not for me.
Come back to
Surprise.
reality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold up. You did a month of qigong?
Yeah, well, so I went on holiday in the south of France for like a month, and it was at the time where I decided to start and learn qigong, and so I practiced it every day for more than a month. But it was in this case in this location, well, like more, yeah,
What
4 weeks.
is that?
So qigong. Have you heard of Tai Chi?
I've heard of it.
Like Chinese Tai Chi. So it's like,
I've heard of karate.
yeah,
Might be able to go from
not the
there.
same. So it's like some people consider it to be a soft style of martial art, but the purpose of qigong, which really is composed of two words, qi and gong. So qi means life force or energy, and gong means practice, right? So qigong is about moving with the breath and with intention and focus to cultivate life force energy. So yeah, you could
Okay. Yeah, like when I was in karate, we had these forms that we had to do.
yeah, the how are they called? I don't remember.
We just called them forms, but they were like all these like it was like a whole sequence you had to memorize. But
Yeah.
it was pretty majestic, a lot of it.
Yeah, well, in this case, it's not necessarily a sequence, although there are sequences, but it's more like about really, like the way I teach it now, because I'm certified to teach it, is move with as little effort as possible and synchronize the breath with the movement, and you will really feel like your body like charged up but calm. And it's essentially like a moving meditation. You could see it that way. And yeah, so it was quite a contrast with like coming back, like computer engineering in front of a screen, you're like, oh, like no more. And so at this point, I made an oath to myself that I would transition slowly into holistic health and becoming a coach and teacher. So that's kind of where I am. It's been like about 2 years ish, and yeah, now it's kind of what I do.
That was right around pandemic time then when that started, it sounds like. How was that over there?
So I was abroad during the pandemic. I was in Finland as a computer engineer, and over there I had no lockdowns, none. So it was super fortunate. In France, it was pretty bad, but in Finland, I was like free pretty much. I could go out, go to the gym, like grocery store, everything.
Finland's
So
an island, right?
it's not. It's in the north of Europe. It's like a Nordic country. There, I mean, yeah, there are
We're
like,
bad with those countries, dude.
yeah,
We
dude.
Shut
hold
up,
up.
dude. Like Belarus, apparently that's a whole country.
Yeah, I mean,
Who
I
knew?
don't blame you. I don't know all the U.S. states, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, point to me Wisconsin on a map. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't. I could name. I think I could name maybe 30 of them if I really thought about it hard, but yeah, I can't place them all for sure.
It's more
Yeah,
than
that's
a lot of
probably about what
Americans.
I
Yeah.
do with
Yeah.
Europe. No, Kev, that's kind of how I wanted to start the podcast. Is I learned qigong through Solbra. That was
Mm.
the episode I was watching, and I was like, dude,
Oh.
how could I not know this even existed? Because people like cure their blindness with that shit. Like,
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like through.
No.
I mean, there are miracle healings stories
I
about with
mean,
qigong, and you can watch documentaries and things like this because you're essentially leveraging the breath, the body through movement, and the mind together, and like there really is no depth. Like it's bottomless. Like you can always go deeper with the practice, and so it's a tool I leverage every once in a while. I love going hitting the gym. I love just hiking, mountain biking, things like this. But sometimes I just need like to settle down in nature and just like,
and you're just by yourself, just kind of
yeah,
just
yeah,
getting
dude.
it. Okay, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
love that, dude.
Yeah, unless I'm teaching, right? But or yeah, with a friend or something. But yeah, that's pretty much
But
it.
like, yeah, you're not like sparring with people doing that.
No, no, no.
Be like
But,
the world's slowest fight.
yeah, but like according to some history, like some people taught qigong to monks who were only meditating to keep them in shape, because like only sitting the whole day, they were like out of shape, basically, like too weak. So they added some qigong to add some movement to their routine.
That's
But
some
Oh.
yeah,
slick shit right there. That's a good
yeah. I mean, there
idea.
are like lots of stories about qigong, like quite mystical things. So if you want to like enjoy yourself, like just read a few of those stories. It's fun.
We'll put a link down below if anyone wants to check it out. It sounds
There's
interesting.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm gonna end up watching something on it tonight.
Yo,
No, so how's just business going? How do you doing that? You just outreaching through Twitter and stuff?
Yeah, I'm actually not using Twitter. I mean, apart from just consuming some content, like as I said in the beginning, curating some of my inputs, following a few people who have a good influence. I'm mostly using Instagram and word of mouth, right? And just like reaching out to people as much as I can. I actually recently started my page in English as well because I thought that I could help more people that way as well, and that otherwise I would just close more doors. So yeah, like basically I'm just word of mouth helping people, um, like things like again anxiety, people pleasing, never saying no, um, yeah, like stress management, insomnia, health, posture, diet, things like that, like holistic.
everything, man. Can you
Sounds
work
like
on my
literally
car
everything
too?
No, but I mean, dude, it's like to me, you need to have a holistic understanding of the body. Like, let's take back pain, for example, like very common, right? But like your back pain could come from, sure, like your ergonomics. So if you have like round shoulders, you will have
Oh, I
eventually
do
like,
that hella
yeah,
bad, dude.
yeah, you
Do it
might
right
have
now.
back pain eventually, but it could be like you have weak, deep abdominals, and it could be like you have weak abdominals because your gut is inflamed, and your gut is inflamed because you could be stressed because of your partner and arguments. So you see, like you have to have this whole lens, otherwise you can't get to the root of the problem.
Why do
Mm.
you think it got so simple? Because now it's just people think, oh, it's my body, my health. Let me just drink water. But everything is connected, Like we know everything is connected, mind, body, soul. Why do you think that kind of just gotten taken out?
For profit.
Shit.
There we
Swear to
go.
God, it's Western medicine, Trevor. You go to the doctor,
Mhm.
you get a pill, and that's it.
I think it has got forgotten, really. It was known before. Like even if you look at Chinese medicine, to say on the subject of qigong, it's like their system of medicine is very holistic. Like they have the organ system which is linked to emotions, which are linked to symptoms and certain foods and everything, and seasons even of the year. So it's like, oh, like we like I think it was a whether it was on purpose or not. Let's not get into it, right? But the fact it's profitable to manage symptoms. It's very profitable because you keep making money as long as people take their medication,
Yeah.
right?
Yo, I'm thinking, like, if we didn't like taking profit out of it, just going off of like what has been working, the Chinese people have been here for like over 5,000 years.
Yeah,
Like, they got to know a few things.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, like
You can't be wrong about everything for that long. Like,
exactly. And I mean, if you really look at it objectively, like an industry that makes money off of sick people, like I don't want to ask for health advice, right? They make money if you're sick, essentially. There is like a
Yeah.
conflict of interest.
Yeah. Because
So
they're not trying
essentially,
to
if you
fix the problem.
yeah, because if you're well, you don't need them.
Yeah.
oh yeah, they'll.
So like you can go into like all of the whys and figuring out like was it intentional or not. Like we don't need to, but it's like even just looking at it objectively, it's like yeah, like they make money when you're not well.
I mean, even the name healthcare, it's like you don't go to the doctor when you are
Healthy.
healthy. You're not caring for your health. You're trying to
Yeah.
get health.
Yeah, some people call it sick care.
They should, dude. People like it's so bad. Like if you don't like know someone that works kind of in a hospital, you don't really understand. Like people go back to that like to hospitals over and over and over again.
Yeah,
For
I've heard
the
heard
same
stories about it.
thing, bro.
Yeah.
And then because like my wife's a nurse, and it's like, well, how do you provide healthcare for someone? And it's like they're only here because they didn't exercise and drank Diet Coke for fucking 50 years.
Yeah.
It's like you're caring for people that don't care about themselves.
Yeah, and there is a thing also a trend that it's like um kind of sickness is being normalized more and more. It's become normal to be unwell. And so that's why kind of one of my my mission, if you wanted to like summarize it, is like make vitality normal again. Like it's a slogan, right? Like
Yeah.
Make vitality great again. Yeah.
like just like normal again. Like it should be like the way I see it, and that's how I explain it to my clients, is like the default state of the body is vitality. That's how it should be, right? Everything that you are experiencing that may be called a symptom is something that's in the way of that. But like your default is vitality. The body is always healing, right? There is nothing wrong with your body. Just like maybe like a few blind spots here and there, but yeah. And it's same thing for like mental health. Same thing.
Yeah.
There's that weird like link between like your gut microbiome. That's been really fascinating to me recently. Like how much your gut bacteria affects your brain.
Yeah, they are.
Like,
They are. So there are more connections from the gut to the brain than the other way around.
Wow.
yo.
Yeah, and like so in the like the psychiatrist might prescribe SSRIs, so selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, right? But serotonin, like 80+% is made in the gut.
Made
Oh
in
my
the
God.
gut.
Yeah, and nobody will tell you. I mean, so like disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, but I have an opinion on health, and I am passionate about it. But nobody has told you that sunlight in the eyes makes serotonin.
No, I've never been told
Wait,
Yeah, nobody
I've
tells.
been told it'll make me blind, but like,
Yeah, I mean, the sun is like another topic that's dear to my heart because there is a massive propaganda against the sun. But yeah, UV light, especially in the eyes, will make serotonin.
I've heard you can train your eyes now. I mean, not now,
Mhm.
but like, now we know.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, I could do it, like, where I wouldn't need glasses anymore or something. Like, that would
Yeah.
be weird.
yeah, you would. So you would need to start with early morning and at sunset. So like when the sun is very low, it's the least powerful because it has no UV light, but it has the very healing frequencies of infrared and red. So that's why you may have heard about sun gazing. So
Yeah.
when the sun is very low, so you don't have to sun gaze unless you really want to. You can if when it's really low in the sky. And for short amounts of time initially, but like just looking at the horizon east when it's coming up and west when it's coming down, it will be very healing for the eyes.
See, the challenge though is out here. The sun comes up at like 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and again, like
I want to try.
time is
That sounds
time is an illusion, right? Like it's pretty messed up with the time zones and
Yeah.
like daylight savings and things like this. So yeah, I know, but try sunset then.
Yeah, man.
good idea.
I probably about a year ago I learned about sun gazing through sober, another thing. And
Yeah.
when I came home and told my parents and family about it, they thought I was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like, dude, quit
They'll-
looking at the sun.
Yeah.
Like,
They'll
I'm
look
trying
at
to
you
tell
like you
y'all.
got a third fucking head sticking out of your neck, dude.
Yeah. So another thing you can do that's more, I guess, mild and practical is getting a red light therapy device. They have been becoming popular in the like wellness circles. Get a quality one because it could be damaging otherwise, but it will have the red and infrared light frequencies, and it's really like charging you up. Especially in the winter, you really get a boost from it, and you will get the benefits for the eyes as well.
I've
Man.
heard vitamin D can provide some male enhancements, so to speak. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, sunlight improves everything in the body, including the testes.
Oh, right. I'll be back. No.
Yeah, no, because I mean, we can really go into the details because one of my passions as well is quantum biology. So, like most of the medical and health paradigm is stuck at physiology. So biology, physiology, and biochemistry. So more like the scale of cells and then the scale of molecules, right? Biochemistry is just how molecules interact, but they completely forget like the scale of atoms and subatomic particles like electrons, protons, and so on, and photons. And like at this scale, you understand like, oh, like the sun through its photons, so light particles, light waves, is like boosting everything in the body. Like literally, it's boosting our capacity to make energy, and in every cell, so including like the cells that produce testosterone, right? So for the men out there,
Oh, I see what
Yeah.
it's like.
yeah,
It doesn't target the nuts. It's everything.
yeah, it boosts everything. Like the sun is literally the source of life on Earth. Like the whole, if you think about it, the whole food chain is linked to the sun, and it starts with photosynthesis in plants,
Mhm.
and then the animals eat plants, and then we eat both, and or plants and animals, right? But everything goes back to the sun.
Whoa.
It's insane, bro.
I never thought about that. It is true though,
Yeah.
man.
So when you eat food, it's literally packaged light.
So do you use sunscreen then? Or are you just not everyone's looking at you like
Ooh.
you're crazy?
Nope.
Tap in.
Is there an
bro.
alternative for sunscreen? Because people will hear that and be like, well, I'm
Uh,
not going to get burnt.
I have a good one. Here, ready?
Please
called-
do.
So,
It's called common sense.
Well, we're fresh out of that in America, bro.
No, but I mean, look, if I let's say I have a client coming to me, and she is out of breath climbing the stairs, and she tries to run a marathon, and she gets injured. Is it the marathon's fault?
No.
Okay, so when you have spent 360 days indoors under artificial light, and then you spend 5 days in July on the beach, tanning from noon to 4, and you get a sunburn, is it the sun's fault?
I mean,
shit.
I mean, if I don't go to the gym for a whole year and I do a big old squat set, my legs
you
are
go.
hurting. That ain't the gym's fault. you know?
Yeah, same concept, right? And so it's about training again. And so if you want to start with sun exposure, just what with like I said with the eyes, start in the morning and the evening. So when the sun is low, there is little to no UV, and it's almost harmless. And it's actually preparing your body for more intense light later. If you go out, expose your skin to the sun, morning sun.
Yeah, that made sense because like
Yeah.
when we were in the army, we had to go through this training thing called Green Platoon, right? And it was like a 5-week course, but like I failed the first time, so I was there for like 3 months, right? But you're outside from like I swear to God, 7 o'clock in the morning until probably 3 in the afternoon, just doing PT. If you're inside, you're making your better sun. But I was so dark and I never got sunburned, dude.
Yeah.
Like it was like I was calloused up almost, like almost.
Exactly. So the morning sunlight, so red and infrared, is building your solar callus.
I was
And
callous like a mole.
yeah, and of course, like don't start with like 2 hours straight of midday UV, right? Like start with 5 minutes,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
They
then
they make the choice easy for you in the army. They just kind of make you do it.
yeah, but I mean for like common sense, like for regular people, it's like yeah, like start slow, right? And increase
Yeah.
slowly.
That makes sense. That
And like
makes
you
sense.
can use the shade. You don't have to put like chemical slop on like on your body. Like you
I've
don't.
heard like sunscreen, yeah, it's super like carcinogenic too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and granted there are better alternatives, but I mean, and just again, common sense, we have evolved outdoors in the sun. And like, do you think like it's 100, like I don't know, 50 years old, like sunscreen? Like, do you really think it's like the like revolutionary invention?
I
It's
think
just
there
like
was a Bible verse about that actually. Add that up for a grip.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
no, it's like what did people do before that? All throughout human history.
yeah, and so again, it's back to like normalizing dysfunction. We normalize sickness. We normalize indoor living, and so that's why we need so much micromanagement of health and sickness, because we live an artificial life. Like, think about it. Like, if you take a fish out of the ocean, how much life support does it need?
I mean, it's gonna be a shit ton.
And it's going to be expensive, right?
Yeah, you gotta everything.
Out the
Put it in a
ocean. Oh
little-
yeah, bro.
Put it in
Saltwater
a little
tank.
thing, whatever,
Yeah.
fish bowl, feed it every day.
You
Yeah.
gotta check the
So,
pH.
so
too, man.
yeah, same for us, right? When we live out of nature, so indoors all the time, of course we have problems coming up.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Are
And
you a
so
fan of camping then?
I would say if people are stuck in a corporate job from Monday to Friday, going camping on the weekend is a great reset. You don't have to
Yeah.
if you have like a park or just like a national park, if you can hike, if you have a garden like me, or if you go like, but yeah, it could be like an option for people.
Where
I've
are
always
you?
been a big fan of camping,
Oh
man.
hell no.
Grew
I
up
hate
camping. That's the shit. It's like almost a red flag when a girl tells me she doesn't like camping. I'm like, yeah,
I will give
That's
you another
green flag.
I will give you another fact that links a bit to mental health about the sun. When you have UV entering the eye, so we have UV receptors in the retina, right, which glasses block, right? So just so you know, but there is something will happen. Yeah, but you're
feel
indoors,
bad.
so that's fine.
Oh,
all right,
I
all right,
can't
we're
see
good.
shit.
Yeah, but so when UV light enters the retina, there is beta endorphins that are released, just like in drugs. So we are meant to be addicted to the sun and feel good in the sun.
So it's like the sun is like a drug.
Yeah, we are designed by nature to be addicted to the sun. Why? Because we need it.
Whoa.
That's why we're
Man.
addicted to sex, right? We need it to procreate and propagate the species, right? That's why we are addicted to sugar, because back in the days, sugar was really scarce and it was the best source of energy. Like, whoa, like it's a feast, right? That's
Yeah.
why we are addicted towards the things that help our survival, but it's hijacked in our modern life living.
Yeah, it's like when we were evolving, you weren't getting a pack of Skittles. It was like you found a thing of
Yeah.
sugar cane to gnaw
Yeah.
on for 3
Yeah,
days.
or porn.
Yeah. I've heard though,
Brutal.
yeah, like the average like 13-year-old now, because of porn, has seen more naked women than like kings of 50 years ago or 100 years ago have their whole
Yeah, I
life.
mean,
Like it's
I'm
incredible, bro.
not surprised. And so, and again, like that, and then you wonder why there are like health challenges, mental or physical, right? Like, of course, like all the neurotransmitters are affected by light as well. And so when you are just on the phone and hitting like the, you know, notifications and all the social media, your dopamine gets like burnt out, and the dopamine will have a dramatic effect on your mental health as well. So you have the serotonin from the sun, the dopamine as well from the light. It's like, yeah, but nobody tells you that, and they will just give you a pill.
Yep.
And then the diet, as we said, like the gut brain axis, That's really important, right?
Yeah, when I realized all this shit, it was hard to live within the society still. Like, do you find that happening? Because like when I was coming home, that was from the army. That was like the biggest thing. I was like, I'm just doing this thing all wrong. They tried to give me pills for it, and I'm like, no, there's no way that I'm doing everything right to where I need a pill. Like, there's something I'm doing wrong. And
Yeah,
then when you kind of wake up and you're like, oh no, I kind of get it. Like what we're talking about, it's kind of just built into us as a society. Being the outsider, how did that affect your mental health? Because now you're on the right path, but you're like, shit. Like it's almost like you can't save everyone now, too.
huge. Yeah, I mean, and what you just described was your common sense talking, right? Like, oh, it's not normal. Shouldn't be like there must be another way. And you probably have heard the quote like, "Be in the world but not of it," right? So
Say that again.
you can be in the world but not of it, of the world. So
Okay.
you can be in this society but you can't be of society, part of the society. So you can still play the game, but you really have to reset and go back to nature and take care of yourself and everything. But you can't get trapped in the matrix. Otherwise, indeed, it's really not compatible with health.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah,
a lot of people over here, just to touch on the Matrix thing, that's why I want to talk to you about it, because
it's a
we
hot button issue.
we think it's just here for some reason. Like we think it's just here until Andrew Tate kind of blew it up. And if anyone's not paying attention to him, they still may think like they're fine and it's just here. It's a global thing happening right now. Like
Yeah,
everybody's being affected.
yeah. I mean, what country did not get affected by COVID?
Maybe
Well, maybe there are
everyone
some,
did.
right? But
No,
like,
Oh,
no,
even
there's I
even
think
Israel
everybody.
did, bro.
but
No,
you
I
see my
think
point,
yeah,
right? It's like a
yeah.
global thing, and sure, like I think I would say that the U.S. is probably the epicenter, probably, and but yeah, it's a global thing, and I mean, everywhere I look, it's like, yeah, it's not designed for health and thriving, essentially. It's not. But, and it could be, anxiety inducing for some people when they realize that, like, oh, like I'm trapped, essentially. But actually, like when you flip it on its head, you realize the power of your choice, you become empowered, right?
No, dude. There are people, millions of people here that just want to be told what to do.
Hmm?
Like, like as old people especially have been like in their houses for the last 2 or 3 years, terrified to go out.
I know.
Like, because the government says you should be scared of this.
Yeah.
Like
And that's,
healthy young people too. Like just because they can't think for themselves, and the TV tells them to be scared.
I mean, that's how mind control works.
Mhm.
That's how it works. It's like basically you need two elements for mind control. Uh, and I don't know if you want to go into this subject too much, especially
Oh,
if
we
it's on
can.
YouTube and things like this. But
Oh, dude. I
yeah,
was already gonna bring some up that's gonna get us kicked off
okay.
if anything. So
But yeah, there are like two elements. It's like one, repetition, like repeating the same message, so it gets ingrained, and the second is poisoning. And it's actually one of the ways I deal with mental health is the more poison the body, the more the mind relies on the subconscious. So, in other words, the less healthy you are, the less you have access to your intellect, your prefrontal lobe. Like you can't think straight.
oh,
So that is why the way I deal with mental health is actually like, initially I was calling it a dual approach. So the mind, so top down, mind towards the body, and bottom up, body towards mind. But I would say that there's a third approach, which is more like spiritual. It's more like awareness and the connection with like your purpose. It's like kind of on the side, and it depends on who I'm working with. Um, but like you can't have one without the other. Like if you want an analogy, like if you consider the body to be a house and the mind is the watchdog inside the house, the more the house is in danger, the more the watchdog is on high alert.
mm,
Yeah.
Right? And the danger could be poor posture, it could be stress in the relationship, it could be the news, it could be uh, like nutrient deficiencies, right? It could be inflammation, anything, anything. And all of this accumulates. It's called stress, like it's the umbrella term, stress, and it's cumulative. And the more you have, the more you will rely on your subconscious programming, which the media programs if you consume
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, dude. It's like the term was thrown around like a few years ago. It's called mass formation
Yeah,
psychosis.
correct.
Like if y'all listening ain't really familiar, I'm from my understanding, it's when you scare a population so severely that they will ignore and refute direct evidence. So
Yeah,
with people that are so terrified of COVID, I would say I could bring them any evidence at all to say that they weren't at risk and they would still wear their mask and, be afraid and all that shit because they're so scared.
yeah. So like let's break it down. What's fear? So stress, massive stress, right? And so you rely on the subconscious programming. The subconscious programming will look at the memory banks and will look for repetition in the past. What was told to them in the past? COVID, 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 fear, 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 right? And that's why it works. And you have to realize that it's all of these things, like this mass formation psychosis, these um, like everything, every symptom is all meant for survival. And why do we have this kind of program to survive? Because humans are a tribal animal. Like we used to live in tribes, right? So we look for repetitive evidence to figure out what's the tribe, what's the herd doing, so that I can do the same, so that I can stay in the tribe and not be like expelled. That's
Yeah.
human psychology. That's why we have fear of judgment. That's why we have people pleasing. That's why we have self-sabotage. All of these things are based on this, on the fact that we want to fit in to survive.
And that's the thing is when we don't fit in anymore, when we wake up and we no longer fit in, like where do we go? Like my family isn't even woke up to a couple of these concepts. So where do I go? What do I do? Where do I go?
Well, you already have the answer on your website. Community is huge. But I would say one thing that's been massive and that I'm like even myself scratching the surface of is realize how much power you have over your life. Because essentially, the more you realize that you can take care of yourself, the less you need to have all these worries and anxieties about fitting in. Of course, eventually, if you want to be like, self-sustainable and have like grow food with the community and so on, you need other people. But for most people, like if you can buy food, have water, have a shelter, you're fine by yourself. As long as you can make kind of an oath to yourself that, yeah, I will exercise when my body tells me to move. I will sleep enough. I will eat what I need, right? And so on and so forth. And that's really step one.
Yeah, I mean that's for a lot of us. That's really all it takes is maybe like getting a new skill, dropping a vice, investing a little bit, like just little shit that you can work
Making
with.
yourself uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
But
But I
like,
think,
no, go ahead, bro.
yeah, I think like the uncomfortable is like a slippery slope as well. Especially as men, I agree we need discomfort to grow. But I think more people need compassion. They are already burnt out. They don't need more like challenge. Like for most people, the average. I'm not talking about you guys who are like maybe into personal development and going into the gym and everything. Like yeah, like gym, push hard, like make progress every time. But many people are so on the edge, like adding a challenge is like no, like no more. Like
I
more
mean,
people,
yeah,
yeah, more people like need like again, like to go back into Chinese talk, like more yin than yang. We are excessively yang, fire, too much fire, burnt out, inflammation, go, go, go. But we are not enough yin, rest, introspection, resourcing, nourishment. Like that's what most people need. Like
It's hard because then you hop online and everyone's like, I made 20 grand the last 2 days. And you're like, shit, what am I doing? I'm trying to relax right now.
and that's the danger of social media, right? Like it can be a massive inspiration. It can also be the kind of stimulation you don't want right now. It's like a massive cup of coffee at midnight. Like yeah, that
because you
maybe
don't
not.
even know if it's true either, though, Trev. That could
Yeah,
be
Yeah.
total nonsense.
yeah. Like if you look at it objectively, it's literally pixels on the screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that mean nothing.
Yeah, and it means what you assign meaning to it, right? And that's where your
Wait.
power comes in.
Yeah, it's like it has as much influence over you as you let it,
Yeah, yeah,
And
I guess that's really what I kind of realized is I've made myself way too uncomfortable this past year. Like I was everything, dude. I hit every aspect of my life and just said, let's go for discomfort.
Mhm.
And not that I got burned out, but it was too much at
It was
once.
too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially like having been in the army, I guess it was drilled into you, right? And I've had like a period of my life when I was starting to get into health. I was like hearing, oh yeah, like sauna is great, but cold plunge and cold showers are great, and fasting is great, and heavy exercise 5 times a week is great, and but all of these are stressors, and so I was doing all of them all the time, and I got really like messed up, really messed
Wh-
up, and
What?
I had this OCD like approach to like making it the perfect optimization routine, but it was actually very unhealthy. I could not sleep. I was exhausted. It's like no, not balanced.
I think the key distinction is the stress has to be productive, right? Like in the army, we ran outside in the rain every time it was raining.
Yeah,
And I hated it because it was stressful, but it was just like because I couldn't see, It's like I told my boss, it was like this would be like if I lit you on fire. You'd be stressed, but you wouldn't build any muscle from it. Like
yeah,
this is just taxing our bodies and not in a way that's not productive.
yeah.
I
That's why
hate
Who's
we
to
running in
have.
the
say we
rain,
could
dude.
do it?
F
That's why
that
we have.
rain, bro.
That's why we have a distinction between eustress and distress, right? Like having an argument with strangers online on the keyboard is useless, useless.
Oh
But,
my god,
but,
yeah, I'm
but
that.
like lifting weights, yeah, and the distinction is because we have mechanisms to adapt to this specific stress, right? The mechanical tension of the weights up and down, the physiological like stress from like tearing the muscles apart and lactic acid production and all of that stuff. And we have mechanism to adapt to that. But back to this, like what you said earlier, Trevor, like this society that's so not suited for health is because it's full of stresses that we can't adapt to. So it's just like stress. It's like
Yeah.
distress, right?
That
Yeah.
was the biggest thing. Like we're who were we just talking to? We were in the golden age of gaming. And
I think
so
it was my friend Sam. Yeah.
yeah, and everyone like it goes into social media, just internet in general. Our age group was the golden age of internet. It wasn't the beginning,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not the end. We are right at the peak.
we were talking about Call of Duty like Black Ops. Yeah.
Yeah, all that like we were in the golden age and we just don't know how to deal with it. Like this is a brand new concept. Being able to
Yeah.
go on my phone, talk to anybody, look at anything, find out anything, brand new concept. And just no one knows how to use it the right way. No one knows what to do with all this information.
Is
Yeah.
there a right way on a lot of these things? Like it's so pervasive now. It's
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Like
I
we
suppose
were
it's like intentional way that we're looking for, right?
yeah, like we were talking about fucking phones. Like I think that was one of those where our generation really made it out the exit, like almost getting the door hit on us because like we had smartphones and stuff, but they were so bad they weren't everywhere like they are now.
Yeah. I mean, my first phone was a flip phone, and
Oh yeah.
I got my first smartphone, which was pretty bad in high school, and I didn't have internet on it, except like Wi-Fi at home,
Oh,
right?
Oh
the
yeah.
yeah, the iPod. It's like a
No, no,
smartphone
yeah. I
without
mean,
the
it
calling
was
and shit.
yeah, but it was an actual phone, but just didn't have like the subscription with like mobile data essentially.
Oh
It's
Lord.
I
Yeah.
had to wait until college to have like actual mobile data for me.
So you know about that
I remember
track
pulling out the
phone? Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
pulling out the flip phone on the bus and I played some stupid game and it cost like per minute or something. Like
Yeah.
my mom lost her fucking mind.
Dude, I'm
Absolutely lost it.
Yeah, but I
What the
mean,
hell are you doing?
yeah, if it was new to us, it was new to our parents, like
Exactly.
caring for us as well.
oh, that had to be so tough, dude. Like here's all
Yeah.
this brand new technology. Like
Yeah.
did no one know anything about it back then?
Yeah, and again, like back to the how to say, like the reason why there is like one of the reasons why there is such a mental health epidemic is because everything is fast paced. We are in this information age, and information goes straight into the mind, and we have so much information all the time. It's like it's like you are eating food but never digesting. We are
Yeah.
ingesting information but never meditating or relaxing or taking like stopping. And
Yeah.
so it just adds to the balloon, right? And so you have more thoughts, more ideas, more concepts. And so like you're completely lost. Like you lose your mind essentially.
We don't. Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. We don't teach that. I went overseas twice. I got built or destroyed and built back up through the army, and they didn't teach me at all how to sit back and like realize what the hell is going on. So when I was getting out of the army, I fell into this year of depression because of that. I had all this information in my head at such a young age and didn't know what the hell to do with it.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
in the
that's
business of fighting wars, bro. They want your ass
Yeah.
to fight some wars. Yeah, they don't
yeah,
give a shit when you get
yeah,
back.
that's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Right? You can have the
Mm.
head full of ideas, but if you can't apply it and improve your own life with it, it's just like yeah, it's just data.
It'd be like you get back from Afghanistan on a Friday, and then you're back at work Monday. That's best case, bro. It could be the next day.
Yeah.
I've
Cross,
got back
cross
on
your
a.
fingers, you get like maybe a week off.
It'd be a Monday evening I got back, and I was at work the next day, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and I think a big thing too is like so many problems now, like, are crises. Like the climate crisis, the pandemic, the
Yeah, there's no like middle ground
fucking
problem.
racism. Yeah, nothing's a
Everything's
small
extreme.
issue.
Yeah, that's how you make people freak out.
Yeah, the scary.
But
Yeah.
like turn off all source of information and just look around your neighborhood.
I
It's
was gonna ask
peaceful.
though, like, how do you
Yeah.
balance that with how like pervasive politics are now?
So even if I come across it, um, I just try to not give much attention to it. Right? You have
Yeah.
probably heard the quote like, "Where attention goes, energy flows." Well, I just don't give my energy to those things because it
Yeah.
will not practically improve my life. It will more than likely just drain me and
Oh,
lead
okay.
me to pointless arguments. But generally speaking, I just like try to avoid it. I just like do my best to spread my message and to again like read and learn what's interesting to me and what makes me grow and makes my life better. And yeah, like when I come across politics, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's part of the human game, I guess. And this is where it helps to have like a more like eagle's eye perspective on life, like more like you could call it spiritual, right? It's like, yeah, it's just like humans doing human shit. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
We're
so
pretty
like,
good at that.
yeah, and you guys are laughing, so that's the best answer. Like just laugh it off, right? We
Yeah.
No,
it's
dude.
like
Well, it
because I
took
mean,
me so long to get there because, like I said, you find out all this shit, and then you're like, "Oh my god, what the hell
yeah,
is happening to the world?"
yeah. I mean, like again, depending on where you place your attention, you could place your attention on all the suffering in the world of the world, and it's like, yeah, but it's not productive. You would just suffer. You would just add to the suffering by suffering, thinking about the suffering. It's like not like
Dude.
pointless.
I
So
was watching.
or
Okay,
like
bro.
just yeah, or like just focus on like what do you want to create? How do you want to serve? Like and realizing like your perspective on things is more important than the things themselves.
Yeah.
They say perception is reality. I've never heard someone fucking turn it around like that though. It's usually something bad.
Yeah. Okay. So the way I see it is more like so I was an engineer. I like equations. It's more like perception plus reality equals experience.
And we write that down.
Put that on a cross stitch and sell that shit on Etsy.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there is
Yeah.
still reality. There are still like if you look at things objectively, like I am in the garden. That's objective. That's reality. Right. But then there is my perspective on it. It could be like my perspective could be I am in my garden, the best garden, a pleasant garden. That's my
That's some
perspective.
Trump shit right there. It's the best garden. Many people say it's the greenest they've ever seen. It's great.
Yeah, and then the combination of the two gives rise to my experience.
Well, it's just it's hard too, especially recently, because it's like, especially with how language is being manipulated now, it's harder to see what objective reality is now.
Yes,
We
it's
can't
made
even
on
agree
purpose.
on what a man or a woman is. Some of
Yeah,
us.
it's on purpose. So I talked about like some of the ingredients to mind control. Another one that you can throw into the mix is confusion.
Yeah.
Because if you induce confusion, the frontal lobe will just turn off and rely on the subconscious programs. It's like if you can't figure it out, just rely on the automatic programs. Hence
Yeah.
confusion. Hence
Yeah, and
hence
that's
like arguments and politics and like polarity, like yes and no, like black and white all the time. Confusion. Like wear one mask, no masks, two masks.
I
Confusion
wear
all the time.
5. Or I mean, look at the Ukraine-Russia war. Every time anything happens in that part of the earth, it's them both doing this and the Spider-Man meme pointing at everyone else. Like, we don't know what the hell is going on over there, bro. Shit's just blowing up.
You know, it's the first time I've heard Ukraine in maybe a month. So that
oh,
tells you
way to go,
that,
Kevin.
yeah, that tells you how much disconnected I am. How
Well,
disconnected I
hey,
am.
no, that is some impressive stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
I had forgotten. Not that there might be people suffering, but I mean, there are people suffering whenever there is manipulation, right?
there's
Whenever
always
there is
people
profit.
suffering,
Yeah.
dude. I
Yeah.
was watching this like it's on the History Channel out here. It's like Mankind: The Story of Us, and it's just for the entire mankind from start to right now. It's been raping and pillaging, taking other people's shit, and building civilizations that fall eventually.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty consistent. I don't know why we wouldn't be doing that now because we have a little bit of technology. People are still the same.
Yeah. And again, like this is where it helps to have this eagle's eye perspective. It's like, yeah, it's just kids in the sandbox, essentially. And we are in this on Earth to learn and grow. And so like toddlers, we like make a mess. That's what we do. And suffering is actually the best teacher to raise consciousness. It just is like most of what I've
Yeah.
learned was through suffering. Most of it, like the sleepless
Yeah.
nights of anxiety and so on. But yeah,
It's that's what me and Kevin talk about, and that's why we kind of started this, because you can't convey suffering to someone who hasn't suffered.
no,
There's no way. It just won't click in the mind. You have to suffer. And the problem is we're suffering and no one's teaching us how to deal with the suffering.
exactly.
Like we're going to school, going whatever it is. We come home, life sucks, and it's just whatever. Let's play video games or do whatever.
Yeah,
We don't,
and you
like
add
you said, we can't digest.
yeah, and you add to that the fact that fundamentally every human being feels it's inadequate or flawed, and so we'll think, oh, there is something wrong with me, right? And so it becomes
Dude.
it becomes a vicious circle, and then you're like, well, yeah, it just adds fuel to the fire, right?
I've been trying to figure out what's wrong with me for 4 or 5 years now.
I was about to
mean,
say, what am I, 27 now? Yeah, hell.
everybody did, and it's of course it's been reinforced by again society, right? It's like basically every ad makes you feel inadequate, and so they sell you this so that you can feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
That's every ad. That's marketing 101. Like, hey, you have this problem and your life sucks, buy this so that it sucks less. That's basically marketing.
It's an emotional response, dude. People are fucking
Yeah.
About the
emotional.
Yeah, but again, it's like the human predicament, and in my opinion, are one of the reasons we are here is to transcend that.
Transcend, okay?
Yeah, like get rid of all this suffering. Like you could call it enlightenment if you want, but like to me, that's why we're here, like to learn the lessons of like, oh, okay, so if I keep doing this, I keep suffering, so I can like learn, transcend it, and like teach it to others.
yeah.
Oh, I bet.
And that's like a
Okay.
big thing just with parenting. I don't want to do what my parents did because there's some problems there.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to follow the same
Every
steps.
kid. Yeah, that's everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, how like you probably have done it, but or you can just like imagine, like how fulfilling would it be for you to teach to someone a lesson that you've learned as you have suffered, right?
That's why
It's
we
super-
started it, man.
That's
Yeah,
what made
because
the
I had
army
no other
so much
fulfillment.
fun, dude.
I had
it's
zero
built
fulfillment. I
into
didn't
us.
know what to do.
It's built into us, right? To have this deep fulfillment, to share the lessons learned through pain to others.
Like
Yeah.
I'd be telling some guys about the army, like when I was overseas and I had this happen to me and it was all hot and miserable and all this shit. But like, here's how I made this special tool that made it a lot easier. Like that
There we
was
go.
actually really fulfilling.
Yeah.
And then, they kind of took that away from us, and then people get out from that. But it was
Yeah.
very cool to do. When,
Yeah. I mean, one of the ways you can find a really meaningful activity for yourself if you find like kind of wandering aimlessly in life is like figure out a problem you've solved in the past, in your past, and just help people solve the same problem.
Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what people need. Someone who went through the same problem with the same
Yeah.
experience, or not the same experience, but now with the mind to deal with that same experience.
Yeah.
So I went through the problem. I know when I come across that problem again, I'm gonna be okay. But
Yeah.
no one's teaching these other people, which
Exactly.
actually brings me to what you guys are taught in schools. Because I was watching Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, baby,
You heard?
and they're over there in Tokyo, and I'm like, man, even their schools are just better. Like what they're teaching them in schools is by far like how they have a finance class in like elementary school.
Hmm.
Come on. Do you guys have
Not even.
anything special over there, or is it just kind of normal public school?
I mean, I don't have a point of reference with how it is in the US. Just like I've just had echoes. I do know that, especially when I went to Finland, it's known that Finland has one of the best educational systems. And yeah, but I can't really speak for it. Like I don't have much knowledge about it. I went through it, obviously, forgot all of it, right? And when I look back, I'm like, it's like you wonder why kids have ADHD. Like they are, if you look it up, like they are literally seated under artificial light the whole day, listening to something that's not interesting to them, and you wonder, and eating often like crappy food, like pasteurized,
Dude,
non-organic meat. Milk.
China is killing it with their school lunches, bro.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of shit, but like the lunch, dude.
But you're like, and then you wonder why they have ADHD. No, like just put them outside. They are kids. They are not meant to be in prison.
Oh,
Yeah, we
I'm
get
not
recess for like 15 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I'm fucking 10. I'm not trying to learn about the fucking World War II. Who cares, dude?
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
I think the
not-
big issue here is like it's become less of like a meritocracy. Like how your success isn't really determined off of how smart you are and how much you can learn.
Yeah.
I mean, they're taking away most test scores from colleges now. Like you don't need to take like the GRE to get a master's program.
but I would
There-
say I would go one step further, Kev.
Oh, please do.
Because even when it was, I mean, for me, kind of was like how smart you are, how good you do on tests, but it teaches you nothing about life. Zero.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can be the smartest dude, like the smartest coach. If I can't communicate and provide actual value, useless.
Yeah, we call that being book smart here. It's like where someone would be like good on
Yeah.
like computers and like college and stuff, but then give them a wrench and it's like it might as well be an alien object.
Yeah. So
You know who I'm
yeah, and
talking
we
about.
are
True.
not taught again. We are not taught to navigate life and to navigate our body and our mind and our emotions, and it causes a lot of problems. But we are taught a lot of information. Like we input a lot of information. That's for sure.
I think we're
but-
taught a lot of negative information too. Like
Yeah.
I get it, every country has like good and bad times, but it's like I shouldn't graduate high school thinking, bro, this country sucks ass. Like you think China is teaching their kids how bad China is? Like
No.
hell no, dude.
The opposite. Yeah.
It's like, okay, I get it. We had slaves, the Holocaust. I get it. Like something good had to happen.
How do we get better then? We did it. We understand.
No,
like
we did.
y'all aren't
ever.
teaching me how to not fall into this trap again. Y'all are just
Yeah.
telling me about this trap.
You suck. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
I
and
don't
that
know,
it,
bro.
it can also propagate the shame as well. It's like, oh, you're like you are part of this kind of. It's your like how to say your ancestors went through this, right? Like everybody's ancestors did some shit at some point.
no,
It's
not
like, not mine. It's like a pure.
only the white peoples, bro.
Yeah, and so it's like, well, like, are you trying to shame me? Like, what's the point?
Yes, they are. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
of course they
dude.
are.
Because like
if-
you said, it's our goal to take the experience and make life better. Like that's our goal. So I
Yeah.
am not gonna do the Holocaust because y'all told me that it's bad. So let's get over it now.
Yeah.
Like
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
but
But
I did want to bringing
yeah,
up
go
with
ahead.
that. You talked about teaching your clients how to say no. That is
That's
one
one
of my
part.
biggest problems.
Okay.
And with all of like what we're talking about right now, like it's hard even to say no to someone. I mean, you could bring up any topic in politics or anything, and if you say no, you get your ass beat. Especially in America, you say no to someone who's is a she instead of a he, it turns into a whole like you're going to be on the internet. Everybody's going to know who you are.
I mean, look at that nurse got her bike fucking jacked a week and a half ago.
Yoink.
Got her fired from work, bro. You didn't do anything.
But how do you even start saying no? What's like of course you could just go up to someone and say no, but it's going to be in your head like, oh no, what's going to happen? It's just fear in your head, of course.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So, I mean, let's make it clear. Like when I say saying no, it's like about your own boundaries,
right.
right? It's like if someone asks you to go to the movie theater, but you really want to just like chill out at home and have a massage, and you say yes, that's like what I'm talking about. Like you didn't honor
Right.
your boundary, you didn't honor your needs. Um, and so it will kind of be linked to what we talked about. The healthier you are, the more your mind will realize that your body is resilient, the less you will need to compromise your boundaries to please others. That's that's one aspect. But generally speaking, is like, what are you trying to get out of the other person? Because always saying yes is a form of people pleasing.
Yeah.
So what is the secondary benefit from you saying yes, even though deep down you wanted to say no?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So if I say yes to something I don't want to do, what am I seeing from that? What's the
Yeah.
upside?
Yeah. So it could be like if your partner wants to go to the cinema, to the movie theater. We call it a cinema here, but movie theater. Um, it's like, and you say yes, even though you just wanted to chill at home. Like the secondary benefit is you don't want them to be disappointed. You don't want them to be like, what a douchebag or like whatever. Even though like to me, like we can go into like true intimacy and true relationship where it should be like two people honoring their boundaries and choosing to be with one another, but that's another subject. But like you are trying to get their approval so that you can maybe keep having sex with them, right? So there is still a secondary benefit, right? So you're always
Yeah.
getting something from it. Like even self-sabotage, even like even people that keep eating Cheerios on the couch watching Netflix, they are getting something from it. Otherwise, they would not keep doing it. Every addiction, you
I
get
mean,
something from it, right?
people do meth and it ruins their lives. It's got to feel pretty good. I mean,
Yeah. So yeah. So with the
shit.
saying no, it's like, what are you trying? Like you are essentially compromising your values, but to get something, right?
Yeah, and that's something is the secondary benefit has to be better than your boundary,
Exactly.
right?
And
Yeah.
it could be due to the fact that you don't believe in yourself, right? This low self-worth in maybe not all like overall, but maybe some areas. Maybe it could be low self-worth in finances, low self-worth in health, right? But depends on if there are specific situations where you struggle to say no or not, or if it's just like all around. But you always get something from it, and so that's why you would start to need to like. That's why you need to look at like, oh, like what am I trying to get?
I'm bad about saying no, especially to like if I'm curious, it's hard for me to say no.
Yeah, but like it's not a, if you're legitimately curious and it's not costing you much, like yeah, go ahead, right?
Well, yeah, but like that's how you do heroin or something. Like,
Oh, right. Okay.
it's dangerous for me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah,
Like, oh,
I guess
what's a little bit of heroin gonna hurt? One time, That's
yeah,
just I have a real addictive personality, so that's one thing I really got to be on guard about, dude. Just
yeah,
speaking
Well,
frankly,
saying no, that's the step one to addiction.
yeah.
Just they've been
And I
trying
would
to tell me that since I was a kid, dude. Just say
yeah,
no.
yeah, and I would just like be careful as well on the spells you are casting with what you say when you say I am or I have, right? Because you could be how you say, like pigeonhole yourself essentially into like I
Oh,
have anxiety, so now it's part of my identity. I am depressed, that's part of my identity. I have an addictive personality, that's part of my identity. And so through repeating that, I'm actually perpetuating this identity of mine, which could be a limitation and not
Yeah.
true.
I
Which
don't
has happened a
know,
lot
dude.
with the anxiety shit. Yeah, when the SSRIs is even
Yeah.
like it's a genetic thing. There's a couple people where it is a genetic thing.
Yeah.
But even getting into that, it could just be your father has it through some PTSD and hasn't dealt with it. So now he kind of passed it on to you, and you believe that it's part of you and who you are now.
Mhm.
And there's no
Yeah.
escape when you keep telling yourself that. There's no
Yeah.
escape.
Yeah. And one of the best examples, or worst, depends on how you look at it, is with diet. I am carnivore. I am keto. I am vegan. And it really creates camps and a strong identity around what you eat. Hence why it's one of the most divisive kind of topics, like what you eat, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like watching, like especially when you say I am, like that's super powerful, super powerful. Like we call it spelling a word, casting a spelling.
Okay.
Interesting.
So
It,
yeah.
it's got to have a French translation. I'm sure makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
No, it works better in English actually.
Well, shit.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, like it's like, dude, I think just personally, like I think it's kind of healthy to have that, like I am, like, or I have an addictive personality, just because it's something that it's like if I get complacent with that and like I don't kind of keep an eye out for it, like it's so easy to ruin your life.
Yeah. And that's where common sense comes into play, right? You have to use discernment. You don't want to delude yourself, but you don't want to, um, yeah, like you don't want to pin
Like not
yourself.
put myself in a box, just kind of
Yeah,
like
exactly.
this is who I am.
Yeah, yeah. Like I hear many people who just will say like, "Oh yeah, like I'm not an exercise kind of person,"
Mm.
but it's only based on the fact that they have been maybe traumatized at school with PE, right?
Yeah.
And so since this traumatizing experience, they have kept saying exercise is not for me. And so now they are obese and I don't exercise. But it's not
Oh
true.
dear.
The truth is I've had an unpleasant experience. And even unpleasant is subjective. I've had an experience, right? And maybe I realized that with this PE, with this specific physical activity, my body didn't. And with my like conditioning at the time, it was not good. But like going from this to exercise is not meant for me, it's like literally casting a spell on yourself, and so you become obese. So that's like just one
Oh yeah.
example, right?
I had a friend in fifth grade. Like I was friends in the fourth grade. I was friends with the fifth graders. So when I graduated, they all left, and I had to make new friends. And I was going up to this one kid, and I was like, "You want to play some football?" And he goes, "I don't play sports." Like, what are you
There you go.
talking about? Like, it almost didn't make sense to me. I'm like,
Yeah,
you're like 10. What?
yeah,
But it's like he's still his whole life he didn't do anything active like that, and he's like,
yeah,
it sucks, dude. It's like he's not
yeah.
an evil guy, and like I wish he could have found fitness or like overcame whatever happened.
Yeah, and we all have, almost all of us have these kind of mental prisons, but they are very subtle usually, and it's hard to notice in us.
These mental, what do you say?
Prisons,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
What
that
like
made you
mental limitations. Yeah,
just
sorry, go
real
ahead.
quick, what made you learn English?
Um,
Where'd you start?
So, well, it started at school, but it was not really what made me learn English. Then I started more like watching TV shows when I was still watching them in English and subtitled in English. Then, when I got into fitness, I started listening to podcasts in English. And eventually, I went abroad in Sweden as an exchange student, and I had to speak English for like 2 semesters. Um,
Oh, dude.
yeah, and since then, with my education and just hanging out, like that's like how we met, right? If I didn't speak English, I would not have met you, right?
Yeah.
And these like essentially now I have more connections with English speaking people than French. um
Me
and
too.
yeah, so it really drove me to to learn and be able to just communicate, right? It really opens many doors. Like one thing you may not realize, guys, is like not speaking English sucks.
I would imagine, man. That sounds pretty shitty.
Yeah.
Like you go to other, like you see pictures of other countries, and they usually have English somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the global language.
I mean, that's the aviation global language for all flight.
Yeah. Yeah,
communication.
I had a client earlier today, and she was a bit confused as to where she wanted to go in life. So she was looking for education on health, but she was stuck with French. And so when she talked to me about it, I was like thinking about 10,000 like courses in English, but
Yeah.
she was like, "Well, I don't really speak English." I was like, "Yeah, well."
Oh.
So yeah,
At
one
least
thing-
it's got the same alphabet as French.
yeah,
That would be hard if
that's correct.
didn't have the
And
same
one thing you don't realize, like, it's been only fairly recent for me on the scale of my few years of life that I actually understand the lyrics of music.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I mean, when
shit.
you it
Go ahead,
makes
yeah.
sense, right? Like when you don't speak English, you don't understand what they say in the music. It
There's
just
some
sounds good.
Kodak Black songs we can't even understand.
Yeah, well, yeah, right.
No, that's true though. It's like, yeah, because there's that slang, you know, and it's like there's so
Yeah.
many different like the French has that too, like different areas they talk differently.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, like in the south of France, like south east, they have a kind of a combination of Italian and French.
Mamma mia, that sounds hot, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in New York, they'll call it like a cup of coffee instead of coffee.
Yeah. Coffee. Yeah.
Coffee, yeah.
Coffee.
Yeah, or it's a bar in Boston.
Bah, yeah.
Go to the bar.
Or in like
Just no
California,
Rs.
it's just like wah, everything sucks. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or down south, down here in Tennessee, I got kind of that
Shake 'em up.
molasses just spilling out your mouth.
Yeah. I like studying like specific words like water or like water, and in London it's like water. Water.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's nuts how that could just happen just because where we are in location. But if we all speak the same language, like I could still understand that, and we could still have a conversation.
Yeah, what they call cigarettes, you can't really say over here.
Yeah, oops.
Yeah. You can't, but you get in trouble. No, don't do it. Don't do it. We all know what I'm talking about. A bundle of sticks. Well, that's what they call them.
A bundle of sticks. So
Yeah.
we didn't even get how old you were. How old are you?
25.
Oh shit, man. See, that's what happens is I don't even know you. You're 25, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta step my game up. I don't know 2 languages.
Oh, get the
No, that's what when
bro.
everyone tells me they know another language, I'm like, why don't I know another language yet?
Well,
why wouldn't I?
because you haven't found use for it. Right.
Yeah.
It's like back to what Kev was saying about like useful stress or useless. Like don't just force more data if you have no use for it, right? Because it could be it could be your ego being like, well, I want to sound cool with 2 languages, but it's actually again like it could be like you saying yes instead of no.
Yeah.
Right? Like I want to sound cool by talking like Spanish, right? But I don't have any use for Spanish besides like my resume.
You know what made me want to learn Spanish was growing up in Colorado, and there were all these Mexicans there, and I could tell they were talking shit about me, bro. I could tell. You could feel
Still got that itch.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I could tell y'all are talking about me, bro.
Look at this
Yeah.
guy.
It's an interesting phenomenon, like the kind of feeling judged. I actually made a post this morning, and I was like, they are not judging you. People are just saying things. You just assign meaning to it and call it judgment.
Yeah, it's like odds are that person really thinking about you for more than 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's like an assumption. You're creating your own assumption off of their words. Like, where are
but-
your
and,
words?
And again, but it's like places back the power in your own hands, right? It's like, oh, yeah, you mean I am deciding that they are judging me? Yes. Like they are, like if you really look at things, they are making noises with their mouth. That's what they are doing, right? And you
Break
assign
it down.
meaning. Yeah, you assign meaning to it, right? And so, like the mind is like 3 M's. It's a meaning-making machine. But the moment you can control the meaning you assign to things.
Meaning making machine, dude.
That'd be a good tattoo.
I like that.
like some script maybe right across the collar. Right? Do you have any tattoos? Are those big over there in that part of the world?
Well, we do have tattoos. I don't have personally.
Oh, is that like a health thing or?
Well,
Oh,
it was
corrupt.
I like historically I didn't have the personality that had tattoos, and now I would say maybe a bit of a health thing, but just like your personal preference. I want to have like a Greek god physique without it,
Yeah,
right? That's kind of what I aspire to do, and maybe when I'm satisfied, maybe I will change my mind. But for now, it's like, yeah,
I will say, yeah, that was my goal when I started working out. Then I got this right here, and you can't see my muscle line anymore.
Yeah.
Like but like here it's defined, you could see it, but you can't with a tattoo. So I agree with you on that. I try to get like ones that won't affect my muscles, but
I mean, unless you become
whatever.
big enough, and then it's like obvious that you have muscles.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'll
you
get
got to
there.
be
I'll
pretty
get
fucking
there,
jacked,
man.
but it's like it's hard to see shit on like fucking dark ass ink, bro.
Yeah.
One of these days. Well, I mean, going back to what you said though, it's not just eating, not just going to the gym. I've been stressed out for the past 6 years of my life. I'm not going to grow.
It's part of the healing process. I
It's-
Yeah,
think.
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
so stress. So you have heard of cortisol, right? The stress
yeah,
hormone. It's catabolic, so it's the opposite of anabolic, which is what builds muscle. So the more stressed you are, the less muscle you build. So that's why stress management is a massive advantage when you want to build muscle. Like you
yeah.
want to stress the muscles in the gym, but then like chill out, really, as much as possible.
Productive stress makes it a
Yeah.
lot more impressive though. Those buff people we knew in the army, like Tim,
Yeah.
maintaining that kind of muscle mass and that.
Tim, I think episode 6. Check him out, man.
Yeah,
And
bro,
just
he's
for y'all
cool. We got to
listeners
get
out
him
there.
back on again. Bro. I don't know where the hell he's at now.
That man was like the definition of a Greek god. Like
Yeah.
just built like, but I will say he was only like 5'8".
The only
was the
no, that's
downside.
me 5.
I'm
If
5'8".
Dilworth, yeah, if Dilworth was like a foot and a half taller, he'd be fucking frightening, bro.
Like, yeah, but just fucking everything chiseled. Someone just fucking chisels his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
I'm
was
like, bro,
fucking-
where do I even start? He's like, dude, I've been doing this for 10 years. Like, you're not gonna be able to just do it.
Yeah, it's like consistency, right?
build
Yeah.
a time machine.
That's with everything, even this. Like, we're not consistent enough with the podcast. It's not gonna be as good as we want it to be. It's consistency. It's hard to stay consistent when you have all these inputs of everything everywhere. You know, even if you chose a topic and started learning about it, you still have to be strong on your beliefs about learning that topic so that all the different inputs don't affect it. You have to be the critical thinker to say this shit don't sound right. Like that's the problem. You read a book, oh, look at me, I'm reading a book. And this is what Tim taught me actually. I was reading a book about psychology, and no one has ever asked me this question before, just because in school this is what I did. But I was telling him about reading the book, and he's like, yeah, that's pretty cool, but are you just reading the book, or are you creating your own thoughts about the book? And I was like, fuck, I'll start over.
Yeah. So yeah. So there are like a couple of points. Like one is like, I think it's a quote, I don't remember from who, and I would paraphrase it, but it's like actual thinking is hard. That's why people just rearrange their prejudices. So people just like rearrange what they've heard rather than thinking for themselves. So that's true. But one thing also that's really important is to seek opposing viewpoints. To start, as you said, Trevor, like, oh, like now I see the whole picture. But it takes courage, right? Because by definition, the algorithm creates echo chamber. So you will see more right wing if you're right wing. You will see,
bro,
like
I
more
think
left-wing
Elon's been
matching.
changing that. I think.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of left-leaning people on my Twitter feed because I'm like, what the fuck are they thinking, dude? It's just like, I mean, I go on Reddit a lot because I want to see, like, that's kind of like how I gauge what like the left is thinking on shit, right? But I don't think that people on Reddit are going over and watching Ben Shapiro videos, you know. It's like we're learning about them, but they don't really want to learn about us because in their mind we're all fucking evil. I don't know.
Yeah. But so yeah, that's why, like, if you really want to have your own and a sound perspective on things, you need to see the whole picture, right?
Yeah,
So
and start
let's
making your
take
own decisions.
Yeah, let's take a dumb, like, simple example. It's like, yeah, look at the carnivore diet and look at veganism. and look at their arguments. And if you look at both arguments, yeah, eventually you will be like, oh, okay, I see what they are saying, and I
Yeah.
can like kind of see the picture forming.
See, all these vegans look dead in the eyes. Maybe not that. Maybe meat's the way to go. They do. They look. Bro, they look rough, dude. It's
What
because
kind
a
of
lot of
diet
this.
are you on?
Yeah, what is it, bro?
What you
Yeah.
got?
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, there is a lot of propaganda and just profit that's being made from any camp, but veganism is one for sure.
Are you on like a special diet? I mean, I doubt you're a vegan.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's got a
No, I
garden, so
don't.
don't go too far.
Yeah, no, like the way I do it is most of my food is like seasonal. I try to make it as seasonal as possible, local and nutrient rich, essentially. And as long as is you like basically, I like to break things down into like really the basics. Like, why do we eat?
For
Yep.
yep,
Energy, body.
Yeah,
because we
mind
need
needs it.
to. Yeah.
yeah,
Your
to
mind needs
provide
it.
the nutrients the body needs, right?
Yeah.
And so, okay, so first you have to get the nutrients from the food. That's number one. And you have to digest them. Number two, very important. So it's like not one or the other, it's both. And so as long as you are getting the nutrients and that you're digesting them, good.
It's like such a logical thought process.
I'm sorry if it's too simple.
No, I was gonna ask, do you have like a girlfriend? Because this seems like something that would be very hard to explain to a woman.
Uh, not at the moment, but
Well, when you do,
yeah.
I
But
would
don't try to
find a way to
explain it.
rephrase that.
But of course, like then it's like you could add subtleties because I again stayed at the biochemical level, but like food contains information, so that's why we want local and seasonal because based on like if you eat a banana in Finland in the winter, it doesn't make sense for your body, basically, because it's not grown there and it's not summer.
Oh,
Yeah, that's probably why watermelon tastes better after getting out of the pool.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know,
right.
shit like
Yeah,
that.
huh.
But so like to give you to make you understand that is like you need UV light to process a high load of carbohydrates. Why? Because carbohydrates mainly grow in the summer, and this is when there is more UV light. So everything is there for a reason. So like keto is great, but you should be in keto only in the winter. Or like I mean, you should be more in keto in the winter and more carbs in the summer. If you really were to follow
Yeah.
like natural logic, nature's logic.
Nature's like Mother Nature. If you
Yeah,
follow what we're
nature.
supposed to follow.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Of course, like
nature.
I don't do it all the time. I still eat rice from India, right?
Hey.
But like the fruits and vegetables, for the most part, farmers market. What's local? What's growing right now? Right.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm gonna have to get into a
I've
farmer's
been looking
market.
for
That's
raw
sure.
milk. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Well, that's
It's like drugs out here, though. Like you got to text someone, some Amish farmer, way the hell out in the sticks,
yeah.
and
So
then
you
he'll
want,
like dead drop it, dude. It's like,
yeah, dude, you want some common sense again? So
yeah,
why do they make raw milk illegal? For your protection, right?
oh yeah. Actually,
But
no.
then they allow billions of pounds of pesticides,
I mean,
Well,
look
that
at
was
yeah,
and then
soda.
they put fluoride in the water. But it's all for your protection.
I heard a guy get arrested because he had raw milk on it, but his defense was that it was such a ludicrous thing. No one could reasonably assume that milk was illegal.
Yeah.
But like 8
Yeah.
freaking gallons of this shit, like he's got some bricks in the back, and they're arresting him for milk, dude.
Yeah.
Come on, fam.
But yeah, I mean, you could start to wonder, like, okay, so we have sick care, and they ban raw milk, but they allow fluoride in the water, and they allow pesticides and pollution. And it's like, huh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, why?
I mean, he's
Yeah.
eating hospital food too. That shit looks fucking disgusting.
Yeah, and the hospital is
Oh, yeah.
under artificial light. That's the worst light in hospitals usually. It's like not meant for healing. Not meant
Yeah.
for healing.
If you went to a hospital, you'd probably get sick. Just
Yeah.
fucking as
Yeah.
you right now, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out to
I
you.
want to ask because Kevin brought it up. Just
Uh-oh.
relationships. Have you been through relationships? So you have a longest one, or
I've had a long one when I was a baby. essentially. So
The baby.
from 15 to 20. I've had a short one recently after like a lot of personal growth, but not at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
I'm round about the same. Yeah, what is it? 18 to 22, 23. And then I just did the same thing about a year after doing some mental health stuff and getting
Yeah.
myself better. I did the same thing. But
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
say
But
it's about 10 years of nonsense in those 3 years.
10 years of nonsense in the
Like, you're
3.
very
Yeah, no.
I mean, I
yeah. But
The-
yeah, the way I look at health holistically, it includes relationships,
yeah.
right? And like a relationship will reveal things that you have never seen in you. Like it
Yep.
will really reveal your shadow usually. Uh, so it's a great way to heal parts of yourself that you would not have single.
yeah, that is true. There's a lot of
That's
times,
exactly
yeah.
what happened this last relationship. So the biggest
Yeah.
thing with PTSD is losing the sense of love and the meaning of love. You don't know what it is anymore.
Yeah.
And even though this past relationship didn't work out, that's what I learned again. Like I would not have been able to learn that shit alone. I was in my room crying because I didn't even love my own family.
Yeah.
But you get into a relationship and it sucks because nowadays that's kind I mean, you're not supposed to get in a relationship yet, and people are scared to get into relationships. And it just kind of sucks because that's where you learn the most. It's like hands down, you will learn a absolute
Yeah.
shit ton in a relationship.
Yeah, and there is a powerful quote which is that allows you to understand why we do this is past hurt informs future fear. So most of the fears we have are because of our past pain, past suffering.
I mean, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
It'd
So
be hard for me
basically,
to be afraid of something I never
yeah. All right.
not really that afraid of falling into a black hole, But getting hit by a car, I'm more afraid of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you have heard of it, right, you might be afraid of it. But yeah, like the
Quick
brain will naturally try to predict the future, right? That's what we call worry. Like you try to anticipate the worst. To like so basically like again if you break it down it's pretty funny. It's like your brain is making up a future and then it tries to avoid it.
Oh, what
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what we call
That
worrying,
was like my entire high school time, bro.
right? That's what we call worrying. So it's like very helpful to just laugh about it because that's what humans do, right?
Yeah.
That's what the brain does. It makes up a future that very well may not happen because we usually expect the worst and then we try to avoid that imaginary future.
Whoa.
That's what we do.
It's so shitty,
That's a
man.
trip, bro. That's a trip.
So it's crazy how like simple this whole conversation has been, but we need to have the conversation. Like it's going unnoticed right now. Like no one's talking about this shit.
Yeah.
It really is this easy. It's just gotten so complicated because it's the digital age, informational age.
Yeah.
It's just there's something with simplicity that's just
Yeah.
cool.
I think truth has a resonance to it, and usually it can be very simple. And I also noticed that in a lot of situations, not all situations, but complexity is an ego thing, like just to appear smart. Like you complicate things to create confusion again, right? But if you can't, like to me, if you can't explain it to like a 5-year-old or like maybe 8-year-old, like there is something you don't know about the subject,
Mhm.
right?
Mm, I get what you're saying. Yeah. If you
And,
can't explain it simply, do you really know it that well?
yeah, and same with like complicated words, right? Or unless it's very technical, like if I talk about like mitochondria, have you heard of it? Like it's like the organelles in the cells, in the human cells that produce energy and do other things. But it's like if I don't call it a mitochondria, I mean, yeah, it's like energy factory, maybe. But it's like, yeah,
That's what's cool about English is you can really explain things like really simply or really in depth. Like if I was trying to explain how a car worked, I could literally just say, push pedal, go forward, car, go forward.
Yeah, so we have a clutch here.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Most
dude,
people
don't
have a
get me
manual
ever
clutch.
started on a clutch, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that was
yeah,
brutal.
and we like to pick on Americans with their automatic cars a bit.
Bro, driving in traffic with a fucking standard transmission though, dude.
I mean, yeah, I've done it several times.
Yeah, I know. I did too. I had a 97 Honda Civic that was a manual. And I mean, it was nice. It was built real sturdy, bro. That's what
Yeah,
I
it
like
is.
about the manuals.
Yeah. Yeah,
No, the manuals don't play around. It's something special about feeling the car. That's that Fast and
Just
Furious. Feel
slamming
the
that
car.
shit into
yeah.
gear,
You feel like
bro.
you're driving. Yeah,
Yeah.
way more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and that's I had a manual. I sold it to put myself into a more uncomfortable situation. So I had a 2016 Jetta manual. It was perfectly fine. Only had like 60,000 miles on it, paid off. But I sold it to get a 78 Corvette because I wanted to be uncomfortable. And if something went wrong, I wanted to fix it.
Yeah.
And now I'm just
Yes, sir.
uncomfortable as shit.
Yeah.
And
So
we
I,
keep pushing.
yeah, I went to the US once, and so we rented a American car like a Jeep, and
Ugh.
Oh,
we laughed so hard when we were on the highway in LA, and we had like the cruise control, and so no hands on the like steering wheel and no feet on the pedals. So it's like, yeah, you're doing nothing basically.
you're just moving in the car.
You're just like
Don't worry. On
you're just
cruise
like choosing
control.
the radio station. That's it.
Yeah.
I like on Jeeps because they're so flat, the windshield, they catch everything on the highway.
Oh my god, dude!
Yeah.
And the windshield's like as big as my screen right now. Like those
Yo.
I hate those cars, dude.
you,
Those
you
are
put
like the
a
worst
you
fucking
put a
car.
like a baseball cap on the front of it. You can't see out that front glass, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, man, while you're still here, the holistic health, we've had a friend who is exploring his journey through psilocybin.
Yeah.
Do you tap into that field at all?
Haven't yet. It's way less popular here. Um, I am, however, open to it, and I'm sure it can have benefits if again done with intention. It could be used as an escape or as a party drug, or it could be used as medicine, and it's up to you how to use it
Isn't
and with
MDMA
who
real
you.
popular over there?
Uh,
Like ecstasy?
I mean, I'm not in the right circles to know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you probably no
But
one ever offered you any.
yeah, yeah, but like I feel like I've had some medicine journeys in insomnia, like
Oh.
facing my ego in insomnia and having to really shed layers of ego to actually fall asleep and be at peace. And even like fairly recently, like one that was pretty insidious was my attachment to being healthy, because it's also my brand, right? But so I was starting to have my mind racing, so I was not falling asleep. So I had anxiety about the fact that I would be tired, and it would essentially threaten my ego. And so I had to surrender that as well to like, oh, right,
Wow, that's not. I'm literally working on that shit right now.
yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm working on.
yeah. And but so okay, so I think it's a great point after like an hour and a half already. It's like we have this mindset of like the war on cancer, the war on symptoms, get rid of symptoms, kill everything, kill the germs.
I just like to kill, man.
Yeah. And I think one thing that's really helpful is embrace your humanity, embrace the imperfection, learn to love the fact that you can be tired, love the fact that yeah, sure, you might still have anxiety every once in a while. Love it. That's fine. Accept it. Don't fight it. Right? Like today, like even to this day, I may have like anxious thoughts every once in a while, but the difference is I don't add suffering on top of it. Like I don't
Mhm.
resist it. I don't like consider it wrong. It's like, yeah, it just is, and I love I love myself still. I accept like the imperfection of this human body, right?
Yeah, we were
Because
talking about that like a month ago, Trev. We were talking about being horny. And I was like, I think that's kind of just a natural state to be in, like not a
yeah,
problem to be solved.
yeah,
It
and
just it
that's part
it
of the
is.
massive shame around sexuality, right?
Yeah.
Like many things are made wrong, many natural things are made wrong, and so you're like, what's wrong with me? So you have shame. And if you guys have heard of the consciousness scale by David Hawkins, essentially it's like ranking emotions from 0 to 1,000 according to their kind of vibrational state. So 1,000 is enlightenment, right? And at the bottom is like guilt and shame, like it's the lowest vibrations. Fear is above that, anger is above that, but guilt and shame are the lowest.
Shit.
I've never heard about that. I have to look that up.
Yeah, you
Yeah, I
said
mean,
David
if you
Hawkins?
like, so it's called the consciousness scale by David Hawkins. You can just like
Oh,
look it
yeah.
up and put it in the show notes if you want. Very interesting stuff. Um, and they,
Link
yeah,
down below.
Hey,
You got to be quick with those links, bro.
yeah, we'll get there. Once we have enough money, we'll be moving a little mo.
But yeah, so Trev, so it's like, yeah, like basically, like if you really again want to break it down simply, any suffering is because you are resisting what is,
Mm-hmm.
or you are not accepting what is.
Mm.
Yeah, but then it's hard to. I guess it's not hard to accept. Just it's
We are
easier
just
to
like,
accept it than it is to be pissed off about it.
Yeah.
yeah, but
Why are
so
we?
we
What the hell?
so
It's
again,
because it's so logical, dude. That's all. All the emotion's been stripped out of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but again, it's like the human predicament, and it's funny, right? Uh, and
Yeah, it's
but
hilarious.
yeah, like basically what first of all, it's conditioned in us, right? It's like, yeah, like I want this and I don't want that, and I'm like, right. So we are basically, what we do as humans is we are imposing our preferences on life, and we are throwing a tantrum until they are met, and then we wonder why we are not happy.
Hmm. We're trying to impose our will on reality,
Yeah. So it's
and
like
when
I
yeah.
expect the world to like match my preferences, and
Yeah.
then I wonder like why I'm not happy.
Well, tell that to the entire left here in the U.S., bro.
Yeah.
Well, that's they even started with this podcast. Is that's what was going on in my head. I kind of just shedding it now. It's like, come on, guys. Like, why do you guys not see this as a huge fucking issue? Like, hello.
No, that's most
But
issues.
some
Too.
people don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, they really just don't care. It's not
Yeah.
something they look
Some-
into. It's not something that
Yeah.
affected them.
I think that could be a good thing, though. I'm gonna cut you off. My bad.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
if everyone knew how the true scale of mental health issues in America, I think we would all be in a worse place. It's like we're almost blissfully ignorant to a lot of it, and I think that's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And I think one of the greatest freedoms you can offer to other people and to yourself is to allow other people to have their own experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what my mom did very well growing up.
Yeah. Because have
Yeah.
you ever tried to convince a family member to do something they don't want to do?
No, it's impossible. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll never get there.
Good luck.
Yeah. Does that work?
No.
So it's just like, as cliche or poetic as it sounds, it's like just shine your light, live your life.
And that's what I do, bro. Like there's some things that like I do, my family don't agree with me on, but like I just do it, you know.
Yeah. It's like, it's your opinion. Thank you for sharing it. And I will go on my own way.
Yeah, like take it or leave it, dude. Like I'm here, you know. There's
Yeah.
the door. It's nothing bad, dude. It's just some bullshit, dude. That's everyone's family's like that, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a whole fucking addict over here.
Yo,
I'm just
man, chill.
oh, my bad.
No, I'm not. I just smoke weed from time to time. That's all it is. Don't get too crazy.
Yeah.
But that's been I don't know if that's been affecting my sleep more than it's helping recently now. I'm getting
I've
into
heard
that
it hurts
area.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it
can.
does. But
Yeah.
yeah.
It reduces deep sleep.
Yeah.
You may fall asleep faster, but you
Mhm.
may not. You won't. It won't be as restful.
Yeah. That's what drinking too. That's the
Yeah.
same shit. You'd fall asleep all quick and then you wake up at midnight, be wide awake, and you're all inflamed and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that it started because I literally couldn't fall asleep, and now it's now I can't stay
Yeah.
asleep. Now it's not quality sleep, but it's still outweighing the. I mean, 8 hours of all right sleep is better than 4 of of better sleep. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. But like, if you want like sleep quality 101, is like spend as much time outdoors while the sun is out, and
Yeah.
then block as much artificial light when the sun is down. That's
Yeah. Hey, got
and
me
like,
a candle here.
yeah,
I've been
perfect.
trying.
Yeah, or like red light bulbs and like blue light blocking glasses, and like a software on your on your screen, right? And
Oh, a
yeah.
software. I never thought about that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
okay, so you want more links in the show notes. The best one, it's like maybe $16 for like lifetime license, but it's really worth it. It's called Iris. So it's
Link down
Iris.
below.
I think it's iristech.co.
All right.
Yeah, and it's like
Iris
you have a sleep mode which sucks all the red light out, like zero red light.
Yeah. So your screen's pretty much what is it? Yellow.
No, it's actually red in this mode.
Oh shit.
They are completely red, so you can like watch it and it's no problem. and then there is like a
Oh,
day
hell
mode,
yeah.
like a health mode, and it will automatically adjust the color temperature based on where the sun is at in the sky. So you have like the gradient throughout the day.
What
This
the-
is why we do podcasts,
There's
fellas.
so much to
This
learn in
right
life,
here,
bro.
dude. It's
Yeah.
like do that, or you go buy a $140 pair of blue light glasses that actually work.
Yeah,
You know?
well, I mean, you can do both, right? I mean, because it won't block the lighting if you are in some place and you don't control the
Yeah.
lighting.
Just wear a sleep mask. Just block everything out, bro.
Yeah, but
Blocking out the haters.
then you will have to learn the skill of typing without without looking at all.
Dude,
Hey.
hey, here's a real quick fun fact. I went out I mean, I don't normally go to bars, but I went to my brother's place and he has his regular bar. And I ran into an Air Force veteran who joined in 2000. So before 9/11. And when he went over there after 9/11, he was a fighter jet pilot who had to train the Afghanis who don't speak English how to, or every button, switch, everything, every control within the pilot seat blindfolded. So before they can fly the jet from America, they have to be able to be blindfolded and point out every control. He's like, dude, I don't speak Arabic. Like I can't
I
speak
know, like-
to them. They can't see anything. Like fuck.
Wasn't
Yeah.
that the Saudi Arabians too? That's like you got to think like, if I was him, be like, why the fuck are we here? This is the wrong country. They're
Yeah.
over there. How do- we took a wrong turn, y'all.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, like really when you break it down, like health, it's pretty simple. It's
Yeah.
sickness that's complicated.
Yeah, and we always just trying to figure out the sickness. That's what healthcare is. Let's figure out the sickness.
Yeah.
But we don't figure out the human health, the human body. Like no
Yeah.
one's focusing on that shit.
Do you
Yeah,
know
it's insane.
vitality starts with huge water bottles?
Hey, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Gatorade.
Yeah, I mean, like for most people can improve something like sleep, breath, posture, exercise, diet.
Yeah, what are
water.
you working on improving right now?
Great question. For me, it's more like I would say it's becoming stable with my business since it's still at the taking off stage, because it's taking a toll on my mental activity. Right, I'm thinking about all like how to
Yeah.
like make it grow and everything. And otherwise, I mean, I think I'm pretty dialed in for the most part. Like of course it's impacting my sleep as well, but I know how to work out. I know how to restore posture if I need to, right? If I'm like a bit slumped, like what exercise, what stretches to like restore. Yeah, I'm like, and I know my body. I'm starting to have a good relationship with it. I know like when is it too much? When should I leave the foot off the gas pedal? When should I like actually put like a pedal to the metal? Right, that's how you say it.
Yeah.
Things like
Metal
this.
to the metal, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like yesterday that was the case. Like I woke up, I was like, oh, I know this day would be like deadlift PR, and it was right.
Pedal
Uh,
to the metal.
And today it was
What
like,
you hit?
I mean,
I think
Ah.
no, it was like 250 pounds.
That's good. How tall are you, real quick?
I'm 5'8".
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you
Yeah,
were.
he's
Yeah.
still worth.
Yeah, but in the past, like, so that's why I'm working on in this area, in this like holistic health. I've had massive back pain. At one point I thought I would be paralyzed.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I stood up in one morning and I had like this lightning pain in my lower back, and I could barely like rotate, and
What the fuck?
but I
dude?
know now that I was not able to brace my core properly because my like transverse abdominis, so like the inner abs were shut down because of inflammation in my diet, because of stress and so on. And so I fixed all of that. I learned how to reuse and retrain my abs, and now I can brace no problem. And so in retraining my deadlift, I had to go back to like 100 pounds deadlifts
Mhm.
to like restore slowly the.
You
But
see-
again, like it's a great story of healing, right? Like the body is
Yeah.
amazing. I thought I would be paralyzed at one point, and now I'm like, I'm lifting. It's not super heavy compared like to what humans can do, but it's like I'm progressing, right?
fucking more than 99% of Americans, I'd wager.
Yeah.
Yeah, how is it over there? Over here, everybody is pretty large. When you go out to the farmers market and all that
No,
shit,
it's still pretty rare to see obese people here.
Eh.
It's pretty
I would
rare.
like to be in a country that way, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
It just almost upsets me seeing someone obese because you just kind of
Well-
know they're shedding off like 30 years of their life.
You
Yeah.
know what their problem is, though, Trevor, is they're importing everyone from the third world. All of Europe, pretty much, from what I hear, at least.
In which case?
Like you're bringing in a bunch of like Muslims and Africans from everywhere.
Yeah, especially in France, it's very common.
Yeah,
Like France has a very open border
Mhm.
politics. Um, but yeah, and actually, like if you want like fun facts,
I love it.
obesity again. So at the quantum level, is not an excess of energy; it's an energy loss. So we think of
Oh.
obesity as an excess of calories, right? But at
Yeah.
the quantum level, it's actually energy loss.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like you see fat people running around jumping off, you
Yeah.
know.
So
doing
like
gymnastics.
if I ask you like if you injure your ankle and it swells, does it grow or does it go smaller?
Oh shit! Yeah, it grows.
If you have like heart failure, does it grow or does it get smaller?
I don't know.
It
It
stops.
gets
That's,
bigger.
yeah, it grows.
Yeah.
And when a star dies, does it get bigger or smaller?
That one I
Doesn't
don't
it
know.
become a black hole?
Yeah, but first it becomes huge.
Oh, okay.
Right.
They don't teach us that a lot.
That would make
yeah,
sense.
I
Yeah.
know. But when things
I
lose
know.
when things lose energy, they grow, they go big. And so the way it happens is it's not that we accumulate fat because we are not able to process the energy. We're not able to turn food into energy, so we lose some of it and it's turned into fat.
Yeah. Yeah. See, and you could go into the carbs and the fats and 80% carb,
Yeah.
20%. You could go
Yeah.
into all that, but you keep it
So-
simple.
Yeah, so at the mitochondrial level, so energy, so it's which is where the energy is made in the body. They don't care about carbs, fats, proteins. It's called the electron transport chain. It's electrons and protons. They don't care about where it comes from.
Just imagine the mitochondria like, hey, what the hell's this carb doing in here?
Yeah,
Get out of here.
That's Armin's body, dude.
Yeah,
His
no.
mitochondria.
but of course not that it's not important. But at the quantum level, it's like electrons and protons, right? So it's electromagnetic, and it's so yeah. So
Do you
but-
believe in a soul then?
yeah, I don't know how you made the transition, but yes.
Because you're like because the way you made it sound like was like all matter is just electrons and atoms rubbing up against each other.
Yes, that's correct.
But
Like
like,
the-
is there
the
something
illusion-
that
The illusion of solidity is because the electrons of my hand are repelling against the electrons of the glass.
so
And
then
if you look at an atom, it's 99.99999% empty space.
Mm-hmm.
but then all that we as humans are though, is there a soul then? Like is there something in addition to all those stitches just bumping up against each
Yeah.
other?
Okay. So I love the question because that's kind of how I view health as well. Because like the way we view the human body is like, yeah, it's just like a bundle of cells doing like chemical things, right? Kind of,
Yes,
that's
Mhm.
But the way I see it is it's a coherent arrangement of atoms. And so
Bar.
this
Bars. Yeah.
yeah, instead of soul, you can use a like more generic term, which is an organizing intelligence, which makes
Whoa.
everything happen. Because if you look at it like we are just a bundle of atoms that somehow make it all happen brilliantly. To me it's still a miracle, and like we don't know everything at all. Like we have this. And I'm not saying like you guys are arrogant, but as humans, we have the arrogance to think we know everything. Like we don't. Like it's still a miracle. Like
I
it
don't
is a
know.
miracle.
I
And
don't
so
know.
when you look at the fact that it's like there is a researcher called Mai Wan Ho, so it's a like Asian name. I don't remember where she's from. She calls the human body like a quantum jazz because every cell in the body is playing its own symphony, but the whole is coherent, just like a jazz band.
Mhm.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking like consciousness. Yeah. It's like, what even is that?
Well, consciousness could be this organizing intelligence, but yeah, I mean, again, if you look at it objectively, the fact that first it's working, 2, we are aware that it's working, and 3, we are aware that we are aware.
Mhm.
Whoa.
That should be enough to make you live your life in awe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
that
that's
is
how I
pretty
ended up
incredible, yeah.
believing in God. 'Cause
Yeah.
once I got aware that I was aware, I was like, "What the hell?
Yeah.
Like, this is insane."
Whoa.
Yeah,
What's
Yeah.
going on
this
over
is
here?
insane.
Yeah, I mean, you could go pretty deep with that stuff, but it's like if you are like exclusively materialistic, which I was, like into materialism, right? It's
Mhm.
like, well, they just like matter, and that's it. Wow, like very inspiring. Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
So it's like everything is a coincidence. Life just happened through random collisions of chemicals.
Mhm.
That just seems like a miserable way to go about life. Just
Yeah. Yeah, and one thing that I realized because I was, atheist, materialist, like really, engineer, scientific, like quote unquote scientific, and I was
That's
like,
my dad.
you can't prove God initially, and then I realized, well, you can't disprove it either.
Yeah,
literally. Literally.
that
Yeah.
was my thing. So you said that everything's a coincidence. I got onto that mindset. I was like, what is going on with all these coincidences? Like, this
Yeah.
isn't just me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not just
Like
doing
like
something right.
your cat in the background.
Crazy.
That's a
Yeah.
coincidence.
Say that.
Oh yeah.
My boy.
Yeah.
That means something.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like it's just everything. And finally, I was trying. Where it became a problem is I was getting depressed because I was trying to figure out each coincidence. It's like,
Yeah.
why? Why did this happen? I can't explain it.
No.
That's why
No.
people just look up to God or something.
Let
Yeah, and
go,
Whatever it is, higher
bro.
power.
Let
Yeah, and I
go.
mean,
Yeah.
one of the problems with mental health is we try to figure out something that's bigger than us.
Mhm.
Like you cannot fathom the entire cosmos with your limited mind. It's impossible. And so this is where like humility comes in, right? It's
Yep.
like, oh well, I won't understand it, and you are empowered to just make your own experience of it. Like
I
there
can't
is
even
something.
fathom
Yeah,
how
there
a
is.
phone works, bro.
Yeah, there you go. And so it's like, and it's an important distinction. It's not about what's true; it's about what's useful, right? Like whether life is happening to me or for me, neither is true. But which one is more useful to believe?
Yeah.
One that
For
gives
me.
you more control.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's happening. No, I don't know.
Like, are you a victim
Which
of
one's
life?
more useful?
Of life? So is it happening to you? Like, are you having
Yeah.
challenges and difficulties to be punished, or are you facing challenges and difficulties to learn and grow and become the person you want to become?
Right. Yeah.
Both are true. It's your perspective. Which one is more useful?
Yo, yeah, because if
Useful
just-
knowledge.
it's like you almost really have to have like an appreciation for how like against what odds it took for all of us to be born as humans.
Yeah, and to be
Like-
talking like
Yeah,
across
yeah.
here right now.
across
Not
the pond
fighting,
right
bro.
now.
Like, what did the Earth fucking get born? Like 4 billion years ago or some crazy shit? And now we
Yeah.
have people. Like, what? Come on,
Yeah.
G. Some fish walked, and now we're all here. Okay.
Yeah, and, you,
Some
and,
fish walk.
yeah, and you're pissed off because you got a negative comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm pissed off because someone gave a thumbs down on one of our videos. Bro. I'm gonna find you. if I see
There
it.
are no thumbs down left. I think they removed the thumbs down.
Oh.
Yeah, that isn't a thing anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like no losers.
This was one of our
That's-
older
yeah.
videos. Yeah. I got a plug-in that lets me see it still. I'm kind of a turd. Link in the
Why do you want to
description.
see that, bro? I ain't putting that in there.
No. Because it's cool, dude. I like seeing the downvotes on shit. Not on ours, but like. other-
Yeah, on others, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. What a
Shit.
great episode, bro.
Yeah.
One of our longest.
Fucking flew by. Holy moly.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed myself.
Your Wi-Fi
Yeah,
is
no, and this-
stellar, bro. Like for being fucking all the way the hell over
Yeah.
there. Holy moly.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I made sure that my connection was stable, and I'm still in the garden. I'm not even hardwired, right? So
Dude, God bless, bro.
Still in the
That means
garden, baby.
So much.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah, so
garden
I'm-
like
yeah.
Adam, bro.
yeah, I mean, I've been picking up on like the sun over there, and I've been like barefoot on the grass. So like barefoot, like we can go into it, like, but it has many benefits as well.
Mhm.
And there's like enjoying time with bros.
With the homies.
Yeah,
That's what it's
Holistic.
about, man.
I like that. I like that.
Trying to just even conversations like this where everyone could just talk, just don't worry about anything. This is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. Like seeking knowledge I want to learn about.
Yeah.
That's why I think everyone should start a podcast. You seek knowledge that you don't know and you're curious about. Like you said,
Yeah.
useful information. Hopefully,
Yeah.
people will find it useful.
Yeah, and curiosity is one of the most positive driving force to evolve in life.
Yep.
Otherwise, you could be like, what's the point, right? But
Yeah.
curiosity is one of the, yeah, it was one of the healthiest mindset to have. Like, yeah, I want to keep learning. Again, like the cosmos, you cannot fathom the totality of it, but you can keep exploring.
Yep.
Right.
You
That's
got to
what
be
my dad said
careful.
his
Yeah.
biggest thing was too. I asked him like what was like the number one thing you're very happy about all growing up? Like how did you get to this state? And that's what he said. I just stay curious. Keep
Yeah.
asking questions.
Yeah.
I think Kevin's dad said it too.
Oh yeah, because my dad's a historian, so there's always something new to learn. Really. So
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, history keeps writing itself as we go.
Hmm.
Right.
yeah, you could talk about history forever. Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, yeah, real quick. What was like you learning about World War II? Because
Oh,
like what
Jesus.
did you think of France when you learned about it? I'm just curious.
Well,
Just
first
curious.
off, it was not my wasn't my favorite subject. We
Yeah.
did learn about the help the Americans gave us, right? We learned about
That's what we
the
do, baby. That's what we
resistance,
do.
yeah, the like the struggle, but the victory at the end. But I mean, to be honest, forgot most of it. But
Yeah.
the impression was more like, yeah, we kept fighting and we won. Like it was the allies versus like the enemies, kind of.
Yeah.
That's how it was painted for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, no, I would say we were painted more of like a savior.
Yeah.
Like, if we
Well,
didn't
yeah,
come
like
in, we
the
like
Allies.
everything
Yeah.
would be over. So everyone thinks America's just the
I
cool guy.
I will say, yeah, they did not do a good job of explaining the why behind history. Like,
Yeah.
like
I
did
mean,
Hitler just wake up one day and think, oh, let's
they
get rid of all these
they
Jewish
don't want you
people?
to know why.
Yeah, for no reason. I'm sure. It's just I'm asking the wrong questions. About to get us kicked
Yeah.
off YouTube, bro. Rumble exclusive.
You know,
We need to start
Rumble is
doing
not
that.
Yeah.
Rumble is not available in France.
Oh,
shit.
Yeah.
They're such a racist.
See, that's the problem, man.
So that
Oh,
gives you
because
an
they
idea.
can't even say a lot of that shit, though, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you don't? Can you have free speech over there? Or what can you not say? What would you get in trouble for saying?
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't want
I haven't checked.
Oh yeah, I guess don't say it.
I haven't. I mean, yeah, and I haven't checked. Right. So,
Yeah.
Like I would learn through, I guess, trial and error.
Yo,
But yeah, I mean, it seems that there are like some limitations here and
men
there.
can't be women. That's a hate crime right there.
I think like wokeism is not there yet much. Like it's not like so pervasive here.
What, that subject or speaking?
The both.
Both of them.
Yeah.
So what we
It's
like
not
to say
it's not
over here
like
in
I
the US?
hear more from like the US echoes from the US than here, essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
What about like your media channels? Like you stopped watching it, of course, but you guys still have like your own media and shit. Is it kind of the same shit? Just media sells?
Yeah. Yeah. I
What's
mean
that
every time because like when I have family who watches TV, I'm like, well, it's like, yeah, maybe they will tell like 8 bad news in a row, and then they will put like, hey, here is like a nice documentary, right?
Yeah. Saved a dog today.
Yeah.
This guy died. This guy got shot. Here's a school shooting, but
Yeah.
golden
Yeah.
retriever on the lake.
And then you look at the garden, it's like super peaceful. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, okay, great. So yeah. But yeah, like when you are embodying those things and being like a powerful presence and inspiration for others, they will notice eventually, right?
Mhm.
Even like back to like changing your family, you can't tell them, you have to show them, right?
Yeah.
Show
That's
them
what
another way.
I learned that shit real quick.
Yeah.
Tried to tell him. It's like
Yeah.
you can't tell anyone. Just me and Kevin talk about it all the time. All these pointless battles online. We're not getting. No one's going to convince anyone of anything.
I
That's what
am
they're
never
talking
going to convince my mom that Trump is anything but orange Hitler. Well, that's and okay, that's fine. You know, like
yeah.
would I like to? Sure, but it's never going to happen. It's just like she's never going to convince me that Joe Biden's competent. Like she's not going to do that, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
before we end it off, I guess you got any goals, man? What you're really either looking to get into or something, some milestone you want to hit? Anything you're looking forward to?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Um, so for me, so we talked a little bit about like everything that we've learned, having all this knowledge and a bit of personal development. I am at a stage where I've cut off most things. I almost don't listen to podcasts anymore. I don't read books, and now I'm turning to the teacher and creator mode. And so my goal now is to find a way to teach those things simply and to just help people to be of service that way. And so it will take the shape of my business. So essentially, I want to coach and teach more people so that they can reach wellness and vitality, right? So that's kind of what I'm working towards right now.
That's dope. I will say, for not listening to many podcasts, you're pretty good at it as a guest on one.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah,
It's a skill,
you're
dude. People don't
unbelievable, man.
realize that.
Yeah, as a guest, some people don't realize it, but you could watch a couple episodes of ours and you'll be like, that guest was kind of not a
I
part of it.
mean,
Let's not name names.
you can't be mad. You can't be mad,
No,
dude.
I mean, I can't. No,
Yeah.
it's awesome to see people trying. That's like my favorite thing, and
Oh, I
for
love
someone to
trying, bro.
come up to us and say thank you is just awesome. Like
Yeah. Well,
we're
and thank you
doing
for
this
the
to hear
invitation.
more. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, thanks for coming on, man. It's awesome. Just like this. I mean, I'll think about all this shit for I don't know how long now.
Yeah,
This
and,
is what my mind sets in now.
Yeah, and feel free to hit me up on the socials or the Discord,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, links down below. Oh yeah.
Because
Down
we
below, bro.
like let's put a teaser, right? It's we only scratched the surface.
Yeah.
Like there are like many things we could unpack, and I feel like we are like it's very free flowing right between us. It was very smooth, so yeah, it's like so. Just like if you have questions, let me know, and I would be happy to just spread the message and share
Yeah,
what I
man.
know.
If you have any questions about the U.S., you hit us up.
Yeah,
Okay,
you give a
I
shit
will.
enough.
The fuck
Yeah.
what do you want from here, bro? Yeah. A gun?
Oh man.
Yeah. Tell me some history, Kev.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, Kev. What
Hey,
you got, dude?
You don't want to get me started on history. Are we recording still?
I mean, I could cut it. Hey, Rumble exclusive.
Rumble exclusive, bro.
We'll catch y'all next time. Thanks for joining.
Peace out, y'all.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
All right. Actually, shit.